The Morgan Report with David Morgan.
This is David Morgan with you with the weekly perspective for the week ending 7 June 2019. Well, this week is going to be a bit different. I'm actually at the Red Pill Conference on the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and I'll be turning on the 10th of June. I was on Fox Business. I've not been on there for a long time. Countdown to Closing Bell with Liz Clayman. And I was on this show right here. China threatens to stop exporting rare earth minerals to the United States. The Morgan Report publisher David Morgan on China's threat to stop exporting rare earth minerals to the United States.
Trade war is extending from the Earth's surface all the way down deep within the Earth's crust. Rare earth elements, which are used in tech, medicine, autos, defense, even your washing machine, they are now the latest target of the standoff between the U.S. and China. I have a Commerce Department report that was released just last night. Here it is. And it promises within it unprecedented action to make sure that the United States is not deprived of rare earth elements, which, for those of you who don't know, are a group of 17 obscure but vital elements such as cerium, lanthanum, and samarium, also neodymium. And on Tuesday, China said it is looking at establishing export controls on the materials. It supplies 80% of the rare earths the United States needs, and in essence, they'd be withholding the precious commodity from America as a bargaining chip, right? In a Fox Business exclusive, we've got the publisher of the Morgan Report, an industry newsletter that studies the resources sector, specifically rare earths. David Morgan, let's get right to it. First, give our viewers a snapshot of the importance of these rare earth elements.
Well, they're vital to anything in the high-tech sector, anything from a cell phone, primarily cracking oil to the gasoline, and magnets are the two primary uses. So vital to industry, vital to a society.
Obviously, in this trade war between the U.S. and China, China's looking at it thinking, what do we have that the U.S. needs? Oh, rare earth metals, let's hold them back. Is that what we're seeing here right now?
Well, potentially that is, and of course it's got everybody squirming a bit because they are vital. And you know, if it did happen, it wouldn't stop things right away, but it certainly curtail some, some technologies. I mean, cell phones are use the rare earth elements in their glass and other areas of the cell phone. So it would have an effect. It wouldn't have an immediate effect. And as we witnessed from the time that it was withheld to Japan, which I think was roughly 10 years ago, there was a black market that popped up almost immediately. So we've got to bear in mind that markets have kind of a mind of their own. So I don't think it's something you want to be really concerned about, but certainly it is a concern, and it is a bargaining chip, and it's a big one at that.
I think you just at least showed that there's this precedent 10 years ago with Japan, and so there are ways where you can reroute the sort of pipelines for these things. But again, they're rare earths for a reason. They don't really exist in a lot of places. However, in this report, it looks like the U.S. has what, about 1.5 million metric tons of rare earths here. What's the problem with extracting them here? And do we need to sort of, in the drill baby drill theory, mine baby mine?
Right. Well, I think we do. Mountain Pass in California has an ample supply, probably not enough to take care of the United States at large, but quite a significant amount. The problem is it's a very dirty extraction and processing. So right now what they are extracting is going to China and being processed there and then sent back.
Wait, hold on. Let me back you up there. Are you saying that whatever we do extract, we then send to China to be refined?
Absolutely. And it's extremely difficult, and it's costly, and it's highly toxic. And that's why the WTO basically gave China a pass on the environmental restrictions that we in the United States would have to adhere to. So it's a lot easier, more cost-effective to let them do it. So basically, as you said earlier, Liz, that's why they've captured the lion's share of the market. And this, of course, now is a very stress test for us.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. I will just quickly ask you, for our investor audience, which sectors are likely to feel it first, to get slammed first, when and if this actually does happen and there's a choke point where we don't get these imports?
Well, that's a tough one. I mean, this is pervasive, needed across the industry. I'd say it'd be difficult to say which one would be affected first. It depends which one. Like neodymium is for batteries, for magnets primarily. So if that were the case, or lanthanum for cracking, That would be the oil sector, where it goes from oil to gas. So it depends which one. I mean, they could play hardball and select a certain amount at a certain time. I really don't know the answer to that as far as exactly what China will be thinking. I do think that it will be worked out. That's my personal take on it, but I do think it's going to be a give and take. And I think it's rather critical it happens where both sides are somewhat happy. I think both are going to have to give and take. It's not going to be an easily settled situation. If we were to see it come to fruition and they held back, once the United States was able to source other areas, because Brazil, for example, Australia has ample supply, probably feed us eventually, then China's lost a great deal of their markets. They have to bear that in mind as well.
Good to see you. Thank you very much, David. You know, I love hearing from people like you. This is your bailiwick, and you understand it, and that's why we wanted to bring you to our viewers in a Fox Business exclusive. Thanks so much.
So there you go. It was a bit flattering. She was just a bit off on a couple things, primarily as anyone that is a paid member of the Morgan Report. I know I'm doing this for the free list. We are not. We were actually the first to cover the rare earth elements. Jim Dines claimed to be the original rare earth elements bug. Jimmy was getting my letter. I comped him mine. He saw it, and I'm not saying I was the one that brought it to his attention, but probably was. Regardless, we were number one. He was probably number two, but I'm not going to fight over who's first or second. It doesn't matter to me. The point is that we were on it early. We had some companies. I got out early, got out not at the tippy top, but way into strength, and I was criticized for doing that. Like the palladium market, sold with good profit, but not the tippy top profit. What she said about the Morgan Report being a specialist on the REEs, of course, is just not true. And I'm making this video so that people that are watching this from that are brand new on the mailing list from the USA Watchdog show, or even people that have been with us on this free list for a very, very long time, to make certain that they know the Morgan Report covers all the resource sector except basically energy metals, which is what I do with the Coming Energy Boom newsletter that's based out of London. So it was interesting and kind of fun to be on TV. It's been about 8 years since I was. And let me move on to a few more things. So those that are inclined towards social media, I use Twitter as kind of Web 1.0. I post things on here that are pertinent to your education on what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the metals, and of course something like this pops up, I'll put it on my Twitter feed as well. So this is the landing page for my Twitter account. We've got, 32,000 followers. The website, of course, is right here, as seen on CNBC and Fox Business, and neither one of those are alive. It was on MSNBC. We took that logo off. But regardless, this is, if you are so inclined. So the handle there is @SilverGuru22. That's how you find me on Twitter. And for those that are more inclined on the business side of the equation, this is the LinkedIn feed. And all you need to do to find me on LinkedIn basically is type in the Morgan Report, and it will come up. A lot longer bio on what I do, what I've done, contact numbers for us. The Four Horsemen film for free, one of, I think, the more important videos I've ever done with Nick Barishev, Jeffrey Christian, and a few others talking about how much gold is needed as a hedge, and the answers will surprise you. If you've never watched that video, I suggest you do. So that's just, again, the LinkedIn. Just go to LinkedIn and type in David Morgan or the Morgan Report. I'm sure you'll find it. And if you want to, contact me on LinkedIn, feel free. You do or you don't. I'm just making it available so everyone, again, mostly new people that are from USA Watchdog, knows there's other areas to get a hold of me, and I'm pointing them out to you. And this is the other area, and this is probably the best for some people, especially people like audio or video. That is the YouTube channel. I don't really have that big a following here. I've got 32,000 on Twitter and 23,000 on the YouTube channel. But it is a good way. We collect everything here, and anyone that's on YouTube can certainly find us. It's not that difficult. And you can sort by different things. I won't even bother showing you that, but well, maybe I will. See, I think you can look at by number of views, if I remember correctly. It's probably not worth bothering with, but I do one a week, and I do the weekly perspective, which this is kind of corny weekly perspective, but I do that every week, or almost every week, unless I'm traveling or it's impossible to get to a computer. And I do a wrap up on the financial news of the week that's most important, and I usually say something about the precious metals at the end of that weekly perspective. So the best thing to do, since you've probably already done it, but you can tell your friends, neighbors, anyone that's interested, you can get on there's two services. There's a free service and a paid service. Again, I'm making this for the free service. And you can come to the website here. Here's where the members log in, but the podcast is right here. I suggest everyone comes and looks at the blog like once or twice a week. I do not blog every day, but every video I do does get posted. Here's the one from Greg. I did one with Ellis Martin. I've done about 3 or 4 that we posted. There are some ads over here, very few. This is a direct link to Mike Maloney, goldsilver.com. We trust and know Mike and have for years, so we've got a link for him. And this is one for sophisticated investors that are sick and tired of seeing manipulation. This is a free webinar that you can watch and you learn to do basically what the bankers are doing. So you're basically cash flowing gold and silver using the options markets to get a yield of maybe 2 to 3% on a monthly basis. It averages around 20% a year. This is for sophisticated investors. This is not for newbies. It's not that difficult. You can be new to the market as long as you've been in the stock market and understand the terminology, because the gold and silver for life people, and I'm with them on that, will give you the cues of when to do what. So, I mean, it's very specific as far as entry and exit points and how to do it. So, but it isn't, again, for the faint of heart. And it is active. In other words, it's not something that's passive. You just, read the report and take action or not. If you're going to make money, you're going to have to take the action. So I'll leave it at that. This is one that I like. It's for silver, gold, platinum, palladium stackers. Really, people that want to own precious metals and follow the 10 rules of silver investing, which means you start small and keep buying. Dollar cost average, you automatically save in gold and silver. You could do it in platinum, palladium. And all you do, it's only available for U.S. and Canadian citizens. It takes about 10 minutes to sign up if you have a valid checking account. So you could go to the preciousmetalsavingsprogram.com. You'll have that URL in the description box of this video. You click on that and you can get started right away. It's pretty simple to do. It allows you to buy silver basically at spot, but when you come out, depending on what product you choose to take delivery of, it'll vary. So it's just like if you bought a 1,000-ounce bar, you buy it for nearly spot, a little bit of markup, and that's what you start with. And once you decide that you want silver rounds or silver eagles, the price will vary to have the same markup as a silver round or the same markup as a silver eagle, which is higher than a silver round would be. I hope that's explained well. It's pretty simple. Once you're in it, you can quit any time. You can pause it. You can increase it. You get a windfall. You can buy a bunch from them. They can store it as well, but I recommend you take delivery from them, just like I recommend always, except in some rare cases where you're buying massive amounts. And if that's the case, it's usually worth a phone call to me to discuss your needs, and we can go over that. This is the last book that was written by David Smith and myself, Second Chance. It's got a lot of strategies, basically how to, once this market takes off again, and it will, how to basically hold on to your profits. Also has a strategy or two, and basically how to, what we call the sacrifice fly. Try to catch the very top, which is, as I've often said, an amateur's game. But if you sold a little too soon, it's a strategy that doesn't cost much and allows you to stay in the market again, trying to catch almost the entire move. The main thing about these markets is they go up and down, and silver especially has been known to go very fast to the upside and very fast back to the downside. If it is another spike on this last move up, and it very well could be, I will do my best, as always, to call the top, and then after that, you're basically on your own. But there are ways to mitigate the way you get out of the market, and that's outlined in this book. We don't make anything on these books, but we like writing them, and they're for educational purposes. and we got nothing but really positive feedback. I don't think there's anyone's read it hasn't liked it at least a little bit. So there is that. So back to the landing page for themorganreport.com. This is a speculative stock that is in the portfolio for our paid members, and it's a very interesting situation. You can watch the video here. I just was asked by some of our members as far as, how lucrative is this? And the company wrote back and talked about the value of the low-grade electronic waste that he's referring to is about $3,100 per ton, and that's 50 parts per million of gold, 100 parts per million silver, 10 parts per million lead, 20% copper, and 7% aluminum. Now, this is ground up circuit boards, basically printed circuit boards. And it's produced from a plant that cost approximately, but a bit less than $5 million to build. The annual supply of electronics waste is approximately 18 million tons, which contain approximately 1 million tons of printed circuit boards. The plant is designed to produce 6,000 tons of printed circuit boards annually, or 0.006% of the North American market. So basically that's 20 tons per day, and that will produce about $62,000 per day, or $18 million annually. So I don't know many businesses that cost $5 million to produce, to put in capital costs. It's what's called in finance, your capital cost to get the plant and equipment, and then put out $18 million out of that same facility the first year. We want to put those up quite frequently. There's lots of feed. There's lots of interest in this market. If you're so inclined, you can become a member. If you're not, you can take a pass on it. It's totally up to you. Member section's pretty simple. You get, you have an email. You create a password. That should take care of it. I'll be back. I will be speaking at the Red Pill Expo this weekend, 7th, 8th, 9th. I'll be back on the 11th, actually flying out on the 10th, all day back home. And I will be doing another weekly perspective with the normal methodology for that on the 14th of June. And remember, there's nothing more powerful than the truth. And a shout out to Greg Hunter. Greg, thank you for the interview. Thank you for all the interviews I do with everyone that asks me an interview. I'm very grateful to everyone. The reason for Greg is that there was a technical glitch after we finished, and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like doing 3 interviews that day, and I thought, oh, of course I'll do it again. Greg went that extra mile and was able to salvage the audio on his side. Mine, I was told, was quite clear, but his was somewhat intermittent. So he salvaged it, so I was grateful for that because it meant I didn't have to do 4 interviews in one day. So leave it at that. Enough for me. I'll be back next week. Until then, remember, precious metals and money are important, but it's not the most important thing in life. Hello, I'm David Morgan, publisher of The Morgan Report, and as some of you may already know, The Morgan Report is about money, metals, and mining. In fact, we cover all resources, from rare earth elements to precious metals. I've been publishing on the internet for about 20 years. My primary passion is to help people build and preserve their wealth. I love to make people millionaires. I've helped thousands of people via our research in The Morgan Report, which has thousands of paid members and 10 times that amount on our free weekly updates. Here's what you'll receive from our free newsletter: to-the-point webinars, weekly analysis of the financial markets, interviews and our conference schedule, special reports such as riches and resources, and various metals price forecasts. Our paid service client base is primarily small to medium-sized business owners, professionals in the industry, or the seasoned investor who understands markets and the value of precious metals. My area of expertise includes equity analysis throughout the resource sector, energy metals, base metals. We cover startups to billion-dollar corporations. We focus on a special sector that makes money regardless of price oscillations, and the importance of precious metals due to the ongoing currency devaluations. Our team of 3 analysts and support staff can help you build and protect your wealth. It's important for you to know what other people have said. We're passionate about what we do. High integrity and trust. Tell the truth and own it. If we're wrong, we admit it. Take a long-term outlook with major assets and bet a little to win a lot with speculative situations. If you choose to become a client, you will gain financial insights very few, even professionals, recognize. You'll understand the importance of honesty in our financial system. You'll understand how the money system influences almost everything in your life. You'll be prepared for the ongoing currency crisis. And finally, I've chosen to make my life's mission greater than the individual, which means my mission statement is to teach and empower people to understand the benefits of an honest monetary and financial system. It's been a great journey so far, and the best gains in this sector lie ahead over the next 3 to 5 years. I'm fortunate to have earned the status of being a leading authority in my field in helping others protect their wealth. You can email me at support@themorganreport.com or call my office at 480-325-0230.